Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. I really like being here. I like being with you guys. Um, I like enjoying the energies of how you interact with me. It's amazing, it's great. I remember my last video where I was analyzing the energy that was impacting me, what I kind of felt. And it's funny because I did feel something. I felt um, and I can explain now, but then I'll be more detailed in a moment. But I felt a mirrored energy of my own self in the future outside of this realm. And I'll explain what I mean. I analyzed myself. You can see it in the video. I analyzed myself. I took a good look at the energies around me, right? And everybody does this. Everybody that has an intuitive skill. We all think in the same manner. We think about the same things. We are we're all in that same frequency, right? That same big knot, that thread of energy that we're surrounded by. So we go into the same topics. And sometimes I'm watching a YouTube video here or there or whatever, and I say to myself, you know what? I was just going to talk about that in my video, and I hold myself back from saying things. Um, but back to the example. I don't mean to trail off like that. But back to the example. The example is that I felt my own energy, and then I remembered thinking about watching my video again, and I felt that connection with myself in the video because I was looking at this energy, and it was my energy that I was feeling for my own. So you have your own energy field. You might want to stop thinking about having or connecting with others' energy field, because you wouldn't mirror anything. You can mirror your own energy as well and feel yourself, feel your aura. It'll feel like a circle around you. And for most of us, I see it, through my third eye, and I can envision a space, like a cartoon that has doesn't have any animated motion, but it's just a still picture. And then you see how they have their bubble, and they have words, what they're expressing in an expression on their face. Then like that, you have that. You can envision your immediate surrounding, or whichever one thing just kind of pops there in your mind's eye, right? That you can connect with. And I connected with that mirrored energy of myself, and I felt what it was to feel my own frequency, which was a higher version of myself. And I felt the surrounding energy in my aura field as well, and I saw it the way I see things. Occasionally, I'm not too much of a visionary person. I'm more of a empathic feeling person, and that's how I mostly connect in this case with others. And this is how I saw myself in a gray, but then I could visualize that part of me, so I saw it as a gray field surrounding me, like I was in a gray bubble, and it was just like brackets. It wasn't a whole body. It just felt like it's like the what how you would see yourself in a bubble that you can just barely see an outer edge. It was something like that. It wasn't a complete circle. Felt like it was just like this, and then this side. Oh God, I get this wrong all the freaking time. Anyway, but like that. It wasn't a whole circle. All right. I don't mean to bore you with the details, but those are the details. In any case, everybody has their own gifts. Everybody has their way of connecting with source and source energy. And I have something that I've channeled. It's very interesting. It's divided in segments. Just the way you would think of parts of a movie, or segments in a play, or how things would develop. Like anything, a child, an adolescent, an adult, and then older age. So the first part was just a little funny, how they were saying, you're not Pleiadians, you're not Pleiadian, you're not Pleiadian. It was just like a joke or something. They like to joke around, right? Um, and just thoughtfully, I just kind of let the ambience I let the room fill itself with that kind of ambience, and then I felt their energy, and their energy felt to me higher density. I did see them with my third eye. I saw the silhouette of a person with my third eye, and they're very tall. I think if me looking straight, it was about 4 feet away. Him or her, the being, was holographically presented to me, and I saw it just for an instant in my mind's eye, right? And I'm just trying to picture how was it. And then I saw him at a distance. I saw him about 10 feet away, maybe 12 feet away from me. 12 feet, yeah. And I could make out that he had a belt, and he had a just a regular, denim shirt, and he had an even darker gray pants. So denim and just a slightly darker gray pant, if you know what I mean. And that was a Pleiadian. So I saw this gentleman. He was there. I didn't see his face. I didn't see his arms or anything. But they're pretty tall. They're about like 10 feet tall, if you want to give it a height. And the distance of where I saw him 12 feet away compared to how in his height didn't seem that tall. And I don't think he was trying to burden me too much with that. He was just saying, like, here I am, and he presented himself in that way. More importantly, with those colors that he was wearing. All right. Okay. So anyway, they were joking around. I felt his ambience. I felt his energy. You can connect with their feelings. You can connect with their thoughts. You can superimpose yourself energetically with another person. All right. And not everybody has that same intention with you. So I always let energy come to me. I analyze it for myself, or what it might think it might be, and then I just interact, or maybe not, with it, and then it just starts to go away slowly if it's not good, right? And it'll stay mostly if it's just the perfect kind of energy that you're thinking about. In any case, so let's go on to what I received as a channeled message. Very interesting. Okay, so they go on to say, they're saying it in segments, and then they go on further to explain a lot of other minor details. I'm going to try to get it as best as I can. It's still fresh in my mind. I like for you to reference the video of the different kind of 3D, 4D, and 5D levels, because these two interconnect. Not intentionally. I just go with the energy of what I feel then. I say it. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's not good at all. And this connects with this other one, so this is important. All right. So there's a 12% threshold for 3D. And for collective 3D will cycle through this process, and it'll be an infinite amount of cycles. Okay? I put in brackets time, but then they said it's better to say the word cycles. So you as an energy being in the 3D shell that haven't grown as a soul, you'll go through cycles depending on the dimension that you are. Third dimension, for example. So I'm just going to read that again. So a 12-dimensional threshold for 3D, collective 3D consciousness will process an infinite/finite number of cycles. So depending on how you grow in the 3D environment, you can be finite set of where you're going to be going into the next level of your awareness, of your soul's understanding, or an infinite if you continue to stay in these kind of cycles for an infinite amount of time. So higher beings are at a 15th percentile. That was the 12th percentile. So higher beings on the 3D level will only be able to go up to a 15th percentile. So 5 through 15%, this is the way they're saying it. So I'm just going to verbatim say it to you. So the higher end beings, 15%, right? They're going to have a 3D threshold between 5 and 15% 3D. 16 through 32% would be 4D, and then 33 through 48% would be 5D. So the percentages are pockets of different. The pockets are different in any given area. A general consensus of the general U.S. population, United States population, would be between 8 and 10%. So the general population falls between the 8 and 10%, and the 8 and 10% are the 5 through 15% 3D, being 15 the highest 3D level. I want to make sure you hear this. The highest 3D level that you'd be. So the general population, I'm giving you information here, right? It's between an 8 and a 10% of the 3D, right? Okay. But usually never higher than 9%. So it's very, very low, right? About an eighth of the population. We had a little back and forth because I wanted to understand a little more what they were saying. So they're saying about an eighth of the population is within no more than higher of 9%, right? So again, they go on to just give numbers so you can have further explanation of what they mean. So about 250 million will fall in one category, 100 million another category, 30 million would be another category, and then 3 million. By fractions of eighth per group, awakening will occur. So an eighth being 10 to 12 years, projected delays of 8 years, and the first 2 cycles of 10 to 12 year period will be scaled. See, this part is a little interesting. All right, I think I didn't write it, but I remember it. So the first 2 cycles of 10 to 12 years will be accelerated. So think about the technology that's being held back, that's going to be a cycle forward of 10 to 12 years. We're going to jump 10 to 12 years in technology in a short period of time. Mind you, I'm not saying dates, I'm not saying time, I'm not saying when, but this is the blueprint of how things are going to go with the people. And this is usually why they're giving us this 5 to 15% ratios, the 33 through 48% ratios, etc. Okay? I think the most important part to keep in mind here is the eighth, the fractions of eighths per, an eighth being, right. So a fraction of eighths being 10 to 12 years. And then the projected delay of 8 years. The projected delay of 8 years, we're going to go 8 years of technology in a short period of time. That's what I meant to say. So that's going to happen within the first 2 cycles, right? And that'll make it, it'll make those first 2 cycles 10 to 12. I know I'm saying 8, and I know I'm saying 10, and I know I'm saying 12, right? But we could understand it as being 8 through 12 year cycle condensed. So we make that 10 or 12 year advancement in a condensed period of time in the future. No dates. Or it could mean 10 to 12 condensed years of technology advancement within a short period of time. No dates. But whenever that happens, it'll be that much of a chunk of technology that we'll get within the 10 to 12 year period, a condensed knowledge and condensed in 8 to 10 years of technology in a short period of time. Okay. Scale, is that what I wrote? Scale to, and then use this as a scale for the 100 million, the 30 million, and the 3 million. They explained a lot of what that means. 100 million, the 250 million are going to be 3D. The 100 million are going to be 4D. Give me a second here. So about 250 million. Should probably make this video again. But you can just rewatch it. Write it down. 100 million, 30 million, and 3 million. So scale to 100 million, 30 million, and 3 million. So let's forget about the 250 million because there's only 330 million U.S. citizens, U.S. persons in the continental United States. 100 million, 30 million, 3 million. So when they say scale to that level, meaning that 100 million is 3D, 30 million would be 4D, and then 3 million would be higher dimensional beings. Okay, all bunched up together, and the percentages are pockets in different, in any percentage in any given different area. There's going to be a slight more or less pocket of the dimensional percentages. So you can live in an area or town where your percentile is 5 to 15, but maybe you're more in the 33 to 48% 5D energy within yourself, right? And then you could vice versa. Maybe someone that's at the more of a 3D energy happens to just live around an area where they're more 33 to 48% 5D energy. And everything should then start to balance out, or not, depending on the circumstances. If you have a mortgage on a home and you can't move for whatever, one reason or another, you're stuck in a place where you just have to stay there, right? Let's see. Totally worth repeating again. Absolutely. But you get the general idea. I'm going to read it one last time, and just to put it all in perspective for you guys. Sorry for the noise. All right, here we go. So, a 12% threshold for 3D. I asked him to explain a little. The collective for 3D will cycle through this process an infinite amount of times. All right? And I wrote this again just to make it a little more sense. I wrote it this way. 12% threshold for 3D. Collective 3D consciousness, meaning a group of hundreds of millions of people, process an infinite/finite number of cycles. All right? So then they break it down. Higher end beings, right? Okay? The higher end being 15%. So between 5 and 15% are going to be 3D, right? It's a number that they're using. I don't know why. All right. And then 16 through 32 would be 4D, and 33 through 48 would be 5D. And continue on from where I left there. Percentage pockets are different in any given area. The example if I gave you a person that might be stuck with a mortgage somewhere. All right. So they go on to say a general consensus of general U.S. population would be between 8 and 10%, usually, but never higher than 9. So the 3D, it's between 8 and 10% of the population that's stuck in that level. Okay? The general U.S. population is between 8 and 10. No higher than 9 in their advancement. Okay? And then they go on to say that's about an eighth of the population. Right? So they break it down a little further. About 250 million people are in the 8 to 10 percentage of the 3D level. So why did they say 5 or 15%? It's like it's just how much energy that they can receive, or they have received, or they allow themselves to accept so that they could live within a certain frequency. Like right now, I don't feel the 3D frequency. I know I'm here. I know I'm in physical place along with every one of you. But I know also that I'm resonating at a different frequency. And how can you tell? When you're next to or alongside people with a different kind of energy frequency, they immediately panic. They know that you're not at the same level, and it just throws them off trying to figure it out. It's like trying to chase your own shadow. That kind of, it's curiosity mixed with frustration, right? So 100 million, 30 million, and 3 million. So by a fraction of eighths per groups, awakening will occur. An eighth being 10 to 12 years. So in 10 to 12 years, groups will start to go up in frequency slowly, okay, right? And then their projected delays of 8 years, because we have a setback in technology that we need to catch up with. So all of a sudden we're going to receive all this energy, all this technology, all this information at once, and people are just going to immediately go up. This is probably just like for right now explaining part of what the process will look like. It's a strange blueprint. Okay, it's backwards math. Really, I mean, math here sucks. It's not good at all. It doesn't make sense. Um, so then the 2 year cycles, as I explained, right? The 10 to 12 year period is going to be condensed. It's going to happen twice. It's what I understand from what I'm reading. And then there's going to be scaled to the 100 million, 30 million, and 3 million. I think in this example, they believe that there's only 250 million here people in the United States. I don't think that's correct, but nothing's ever completely accurate anyway. So the 100 million will scale themselves, and I think I know what you're asking right now, and I'll explain that in a second. The 100 million will scale themselves along the growing path, and they'll just go through their levels. So what you're asking for is going to be what you're asking. The part that you don't understand is that 3D has 11 rungs on a staircase. 3.1 through 3.11. So 3D has 11 rungs. Then you reach 4, and then 4 has 11 rungs, and then 5 has 11 rungs. So when you think of saying, well, why can't I just go and jump to 4th? Well, you have to learn your lessons, master them as you go. And as I explained in the beginning sentence of this, 3D will cycle through processes of infinite amount of, or finite amount of cycles. How quickly you can go through this and learn your lessons is how you will escalate to the next rung of 3D, right? So a lot of people have mastered 3D. You've passed. Remember? We've passed. We'll move on to 3D, and we have mastered 3D already, but it's not even about us. The part of our mission that we're here to complete is to say, hey, look, I can do it too, and so can you. And a lot of the ignorance that we get from people is just that they've reached a rung that they're just not able to get past that. Simply, you just can't go past it. It's not that you can't. It's just that the circumstances that you put yourself in, you have to widen your scope of understanding so that you can think outside the box, so that you can solve your own problems that you might have, or settle for the circumstances that have been placed upon you, and learn to live with peace with yourself, other than trying to change the environment to accommodate your lifestyle, or the things that you like or the things that you don't like, right? Before I go, one of the things that the Pleiadians said to me a long time ago was, and they're our star family, my star family, they said, humanity, or a certain amount of the human population, is going to see this for themselves, where you can have these higher states of awareness, and they're going to want to get there. And the way they said is trying to fit a triangle peg in a square hole. And they said this. They said it's going to take some very serious modifications to make that peg, triangle shape, fit in that square hole. The modifications are the changes that you need to make in yourself, the programming that needs to go away and be put away and be, used as lessons. Put it into your shadow self of you, and then bring out the light that's there, that your ego is trying to hold back. Because ego isn't bad. Ego is just a way of protecting you in case somebody wants to, laugh out loud. Just challenge your energy field. So maybe you might get a little chuckle out of that. Anyway, so that's what I've got. I think I'm a little more confused now than I ever was before. But the scales and the tiers, and especially that rung information between 3, 4, and 5, 11 rungs to get to 4, 11 rungs to get through 5, 11 rungs to get through 6, etc., whatever, never. Should further explain what I mean by this information, which I'm just going to really go through myself and analyze it too, because it's very interesting. So I leave you with that. That's part of the Ascension process. I can't wait for that technology to come through for us so we can take it as quickly as possible or slowly as we need to, so that we can all grow together. And I leave you in love and in as a friend and as a person that's totally interested in seeing humanity become the make sure that humanity it's goes where it's destined to be and have its own place in the stars, be a beacon of light for this part of the galaxy. So I leave you all very well. Lengthy video, sorry, and enjoy the rest of your evenings.